And when he makes the top 5 line, that reference, this has been the problem with Eminem. Eminem is probably the most overrated and underrated rapper of all time at the same time. And it has nothing to do, whether he be overrated or underrated, it has nothing to do with his ability as an artist. And it has to do with everything outside of that, due to their popularity. You know, when artists become brands over just being artists, a lot of times their music and the music that they put out is guided by people who don't understand music. Let's just be honest, and record companies who are trying to market things a certain way, and it kind of can get in the way of the talent of the artist. I think if you just go on skill set alone, despite popularity and those things, I don't think that there's a question that he is one of the best to ever do it, but it's all subjective. And that's what people have to start to get out of their feelings about. Is it subjective? So don't worry about if everybody agrees with you. Just be happy that you agree with yourself. Let's continue. All right, let's get into it. We're going to do a bar breakdown of Tobey by Eminem featuring Baby Tron and Big Sean, or Baby Sean and Big Tron. We'll get to that in a second. This is the second single release from Eminem's upcoming album, Death of Slim Shady, the coup de grace. Now, for me personally, this single represents more of what I'm looking for from Eminem on this record. So let's get into the bars. Let's not further delay anything. So to start it off, Baby Tron starts with the chorus. Now I'm gonna say this right away. I don't like the name of the track or how that ties into the chorus. So the chorus goes, Tobey Maguire got bit by a spider, but see me, it was a goat. So let me break it down first. Okay, Tobey Maguire, that's the actor who played Spider-Man. And that's, to me, it's kind of corny. I'm not gonna lie. And naming it Tobey, I understand why they did that for shock value and things like that. People not knowing what's coming. Tobey, roots, I get it. Kind of corny to me though, but the rest of the hook is fire. If you want space, I hope you take your helmet off soon as you get up to Venus and choke. Now, Venus is known to not only be very hot, but it also has pretty much a gas atmosphere, okay? Gaseous atmosphere full of toxic gases that of course we would not be able to breathe. Even while sleeping, I'm thinking so woke, white Cartiers, all I'm seeing is dope. Okay, the sleeping, thinking so woke, that's just dope wordplay. Now in Detroit, if you don't know, they wear Cartier glasses, they call them buffs. So he's saying white Cartiers, all I'm seeing is dope. Of course, white is another word for cocaine, which is dope. Now you have to have seen Star Wars to understand this next one. My city Leia and I'm Obi-Wan, got a mission to pass, I might just be the hope. I like that. So the first Star Wars movie with Obi-Wan Kenobi in it was called The New Hope, and Princess Leia was the leader of the mission in the movie. You have to see the movie and know Star Wars to understand that bar. But let's continue. All right, so then Baby Tron goes into his verse. He starts, no Espanol, I'm allergic to rojo, legally blind, all I'm seeing is gold. D to the A, there and back, if we ride with the Drake, can't smoke from the T to the O. Oh boy. Now, I don't think those are shots though. I don't think those are shots at Drake. Of course, the T to the O can be seen as Toronto, but okay, he's talking about taking a trip. First, he says, I'm allergic to rojo. Rojo is Spanish for red. Legally blind, all I'm seeing is go. Okay, so all I'm seeing is green, money, as well as the color green go. Okay, and then he gets into a little Midwest travel talk, right? So he says D to the A, so that's from Detroit to Atlanta, there and back. So he's talking about taking a trip there and then coming back. If we ride with the Drake, right? Drake meaning the firearm. Of course, that's also a play on Drake's name, Drake the rapper. He's from Toronto. It's known as the T.O. or the T.O. But also going back to the States, if you're traveling from Georgia back to Detroit or here to Illinois or anywhere in the northern part of the Midwest, you have to travel through the Republican states or the South, right? So when he says T to the O, you have to remember he's going both ways. So it's O to the T. So he's talking about traveling through Tennessee to Ohio and back, right? Those are red states. In most red states, you still cannot smoke weed. So that's why he said we can't smoke, right? From the T to the O. So from Tennessee to Ohio, you can't smoke weed if you get caught. And if you're riding with the Drake, you don't want to get caught, right? So that's why he says I'm allergic to red, right? and I'm legally blind. So I'm doing illegal things, riding through the red states. Those are cold bars right there. There's a lot in there. Let's continue. Up in the bitch, you can keep what you owe. Granny told me, boy, you reap what you sow. Do the most, we over even the skull. Steady on the run, glued his feet to the flow. Okay, so he's saying basically he keeps his firearm up. I take that as you can't take anything away from them or him. Now, Granny told me, boy, you reap what you sow. So you're going to get what you got coming to you depending on what you do, right? So we do the most and over even the skull, right? And then steady on the run, feet glued to the flow, as in floor, or being steady on the run, or the flow, as in rapping, right? So he stays on the grind to get as much money as he can, because you reap what you sow, right? As long as he keeps hustling with these rhymes, he's gonna get the money. Very, very clever way to put that. I like that one. All right, let's continue. This is where he speeds up. Up in my Tesla, I'm rolling up issues. Stop that, Valero, think I should quit smoking. Life is a gamble. I'm playing slots, pull it down, close my eyes. I pray I win tokens. All walk, no pop, how we drive. You can come and take a baby sip, still taste it, just potent. One of one, sitting around the stars, double R, finna race, hit the wraith like a spaceship is floating. So basically there he's comparing riding in a car to the ride in his career, right, thus far. And not only through his behavior, that's with the rolling up issues and all walk, no pop, right, using drugs, basically. And putting no pop and lean is kind of crazy, right? But he's saying that's how he's going at his career, you know, pedal to the floor, taking all chances. That's the gambling bar, that's the playing slots, hope I win tokens. Okay, the last line, one of one, sitting around stars. He's talking about sitting in a wraith car, or he's comparing his career like sitting in a wraith, like racing in a wraith, which is a Rolls Royce, that's a double R, but also he's racing Rough Riders, right? It's a rough ride throughout the career. That could be a double there. And of course, the wraith Rolls Royces have these stars on the ceiling of the car. So like a spaceship is floating as he's riding down the street and riding through his career, so to speak, or riding on the beat. It could even be that, because in the previous line, like he said, he's keeping his feet to the flow, right? Steady on the run. So that all ties in together. Let's continue. Then he continues, all this drip, I think I'm below sea level. Cut your own wrist off with that weak bezel, of course. Drip meaning ice, diamonds. Of course, when you see a glacier, most of the glacier is below sea level, meaning below what you can see with your eyes, you know, of course, because it's underwater, right? Sea level. So he said you should cut your wrist off with that weak bezel, meaning your watch being weak. You should kill yourself because your watch is so terrible. So he continues, ride around with the iron giant, make him eat metal, watch Unk break a rock down to 3 pebbles, bam, bam, down 3, hit the grand slam, 4 pockets, fully switch, go wham, wham. All right, that flow is terrible by me. And here he also started to get a little rocky with the flow too. He was trying to fit too many words in there. That'll come with time. He'll learn how to like make that ride with the beat a little bit better. He was really fitting a lot of words in there, but it still came off good. Now, as far as the lyrics, Iron Giant, of course, he's talking about a firearm, make him eat metal. That's easy. Now, Unk break a rock down in 3 pebbles. Okay, he's talking about rock, cocaine. I'm gonna just say it. Bam, bam, down 3, hit the grand slam. Now, of course, if you're not familiar with baseball, grand slam is 4 runs. So if you're down 3, you go up 1. If you hit the grand slam, then he goes into 4. Okay, so it's 4 runs, so 4 pockets full. Fully switch, go wham, wham. Now he's going back to talking about the Iron Giant, or the firearm, right, that he's carrying around, that he's riding around with, the Drake, going all the way back to the beginning of the verse. Then he continues, pants cramp, pull it out, I'm counting till my hands cramp. Road DSM on the beach, not a sandstand. Okay, now DSM is his clique, the dog shit militia. Okay, dog shit is slang in Detroit for money. So when he's talking about pants cramp, he's talking about how much money he's got in these pants. When he pulls it out, of course, it's counting it, makes his hands cramp because he has so much, right? So when you go through this whole verse is basically a double. The whole verse has double meanings, and I gotta quit hitting my microphone. And I've heard of Babytron, haven't really listened to him a lot. This is gonna make me listen to him more, because breaking down this verse, this kid can rap. Like, he can rap. He understands how to write and how to get it across. Like I said, just tighten up the flow a little bit, and he could be on his way for real. But let's get into somebody who was obviously a big influence on the way he sounds. Because to me, I thought this was Big Sean at first. I was like, why does Big Sean have 2 verses on this record? The very first time I was listening to it, because I was listening to it in the background. Then I realized the first verse is Baby Tron, and then Big Sean comes in on the second verse. And I think they did that on purpose when Big Sean's or Baby Tron, whoever starts the record by saying boy, like Big Sean always does, I think they did that on purpose because they realized they do kind of sound very similar. But let's get into Big Sean's verse. Okay, they want to bleed me and lead me to act like they need me, but F it, I do it alone. She want to touch me and rub me and go back to hubby. He probably can smell my cologne. I was immersed in the mercy, but I show him no mercy. I was really watching the throne. Niggas ain't turning me down when my baby is asleep. Only time that I'm watching my tone. So in my opinion, right, Big Sean gets right to the ish. And he's talking about somebody, of course. Now, I think he's talking about Kanye West. Okay? When he's talking about they want to bleed me and leave me, act like they need me, right? You could take it on the surface as he's talking about a female, but I think he's talking about Kanye West, especially when he says she want to rub me and touch me and hubby can smell my cologne, insinuating something about maybe him and Kim Kardashian. That's how I took it, especially then he goes into the merce. And this is a cold bar right here. This is a cold couple bars anyway. Because immersed in the merce, right, is a callback to the hook on Mercy, the song on the Cruel Summer album by Good Music, right, which Big Sean, of course, is the feature. And the hook goes, Lamborghini Mercy, your chick is so thirsty, I'm in that 2-seat Lambo with your girl, she trying to jerk me. Now, that could simply just be him reusing that concept in that hook. But I think it's a little bit more than that as we continue the verse. Okay, when he mentions watching the throne, of course, we know who that is, Jay-Z and Kanye West. And he talks about watching his tone. Only time he watches his tones when his baby's asleep. And I think it was on Drink Champs where Kanye West was kind of saying, or just telling Big Sean to kind of watch how he talks about him or how he mentions him. And I've never really heard Big Sean say anything too crazy about Kanye West, but we know Kanye, he does a lot. If you watch one of the gossip channels who break down this record and talk about this, I'm sure they'll get into and show you that interview where Kanye was kind of going at Big Sean a little bit. So I think this is him responding to that. So he continues to, I think, throw subs at Kanye. So he goes, we don't want chips with a chip on our shoulder. If he Obi-Wan, then I gotta be Yoda. Don't need no promoter. We pull up, they know us. I'm the Ayatollah snatching your controller. I don't give a F about you when I'm focused. F all the drugs you take, I'm taking over. I paid attention. Don't need no payola. Can't take away from me. You just need to take cover. All right, that cover, that was a misstep there, Sean. That didn't really rhyme, but the verse is fire so far. And okay, let's get into it. Now, we don't want money with a chip on our shoulder, right? So that means either he had a chip on his shoulder working with Kanye and Good Music, or he's talking about Kanye always having a chip on his shoulder as far as how he moves in his career. If he Obi-Wan, and I gotta be Yoda now, Kanye calls himself Obi-Wan in a few different verses. I know he said it on the Joe Rogan interview, and he also said it in the Na 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 song that he released a couple years back, I think. So of course, and Yoda is the master that's kind of was above Obi-Wan. So he's saying, Big Sean is saying he's the master. If Kanye is Obi-Wan, he's got to be Yoda. That's probably also referencing some ghostwriting he may have done for Kanye. Then he gets into the They Know Us, the Ayatollah rhyme scheme, controller. Okay, the Ayatollah Khomeini, of course, was a religious leader in Iran who kind of had total control over the country. So that's that. And then the Don't Need No Promoter is basically saying he doesn't need a cosign from somebody like Kanye, even though he's kind of getting one here from Eminem. But he don't give a F when I'm focused. F all the drugs you take, I'm taking over. That's another little, he's to me, he's going at Kanye, no doubt, saying the man is taking drugs as well. Also the paid attention, don't need no payola. So and basically saying he's relying on his skill, and also insinuating that probably not only Kanye, but a lot of artists need, help payolas when record companies pay radio stations and pay streaming services to play records. So Sean's saying he don't need that because he paid attention. He's relying on his skill. He paid attention behind the scenes as he was, I guess, probably a part of good music. So that can be a double there. So to continue the verse, I can paint a picture like I made the stencil. Fuck your whole image, I'm with Cole Bennett. I don't know what the F that they told niggas. I put my heart and my soul in it. I met you in person, you so different. I can't listen to you for a whole minute. Took a blood test, ain't no hole in it. Watch your effing mouth before I go in it. Okay, he's talking to somebody he met in person before, right? And where have we heard that before? I met you in person, you was so different. Now I pray that this part is not responding to the subs from Kendrick Lamar in the past. It could be, but he's had plenty of time to address those. I don't see why he would go back there. So I'm not sure who he's talking about when he says, I can't listen to you for a whole minute. That could definitely be a clue. Now I know Kendrick's verse on Control was like 3-4 minutes. And Jay Electronica only rapped for about a minute or a minute and a half or something like that. So I don't know exactly who he's addressing there, but it could be taken as Kendrick Lamar. He didn't make any short jokes, anything like that. So I don't know. The blood thing, that's a stretch. That's a mega reach if you want to say I took a blood test, ain't no hole in it. But yeah. So he's talking to somebody else heavy, playing with his name, and he's obviously responding to multiple people. You know, a lot of people who probably been playing with his name as well as fan bases. So let's continue. If it's one thing I make no exceptions. I got new addresses, I got no reception. I got love and hate coming from both directions, bitch. I come from the D where they BMF and where they moving them keys like a chord progression. Bitch, I'm omnipresent, I got no reflection. Made a living off bars, I need no correction. Okay, so the no he didn't got him more invested. Of course, he's talking about people responding to him, inferencing violence there in the bar, talking about going in somebody's mouth. Pause. If it's one thing I make no exceptions. That's a dope wordplay there. Got new addresses, no reception. He's not hearing the noise anymore. Got love and hate coming from both directions, meaning that probably people from both crews, right? If you're taking it Kanye's crew, if you're taking it maybe TDE and people who are cool with Kendrick, there's people in the circle who love him and there's people in the circle who hate him on every side. So he's talking about what he's going through. Then I come from the D where they BMFing and the chord progressions, they moving them keys like it's chord progression. Now, of course, key is short for kilo in this, and you can figure out the rest, but moving them keys like a chord progression, that's a crazy line. I know I've heard similar bars, but I don't think I've ever heard anybody put it together real easy in one line like that. That was smooth the way he did that. Then he switches up the scheme. Grinding ish out, gotta stay patient while you outside, we on staycation. Lock the F in, ain't no playing for real unless you play make. I take the chances you hate taking. F it, dog, I'm going West Craven. I'm at the safe, F a safe haven. They play with my name and I can't take it. And then he emphasizes little bitch at the end, and that's what makes me think he's talking about Mr. Lamar. And that is okay. This is what we're doing. And when we get to M's verse, we're gonna talk about what he's doing. And this is becoming the summer that hip hop returns to me. Okay, because subs like this, people standing on their talent, is what it used to all be about all the time, right? Without the silly stuff, without the street stuff, without the violent stuff leaking in, okay, without the personal problems leaking into the bars. This is people standing on their career and their talent and their ability to rap, right? And that's what Sean was doing. Okay, when he says I'm omnipresent, I got no reflection, so you can't have a reflection if you're omnipresent like God, so to speak. You're everywhere. You're all over the place. So there's no reflection. That's dope. Living off bars, of course, that's a prison reference. I need no correction. Correctional facility. Okay, prison. Then, of course, while you outside, we on a staycation, meaning we always outside. Okay, so again, if he's talking to certain people, and I again, not trying to stay on the Kendrick thing because he doesn't have to be talking about Kendrick Lamar. But while you outside, right? So we know Kendrick likes to dip off when he's not making music. So there you go. They're like he's saying we on a staycation. It's like we waiting. So whenever you come out, you know what I mean? I take the chances you hate taking. See, I don't know who, I don't agree with that if he's talking about Kendrick, because Kendrick takes chances with his music too, but I think that's what he's referring to. Whoever he's talking to is they don't take chances with their music like he does. And I'm going Wes Craven. Of course, Wes Craven is the horror film director. And then I'm at the safe haven, meaning I'm getting to the money. I'm not taking breaks. So again, oh boy. Then they play with my name and I can't take it now. And that is true though, right? A lot of people talk about Sean like he's off to the side. I don't have to worry about him. And he's right to step up. Sean is a talented writer. Yes, he does take chances with his bars and with his music. And I think that's what he's referring to in that. And people say, oh, that bar is corny, this, that, and the third. But at the same time, he's saying he's taking chances. You know what I'm saying? He tries to rhyme things. And he does put out a lot of music, if you pay attention. Sean does put out a lot of music. So yeah, that was that verse. And I like that verse. They both got off. You got to come with it if you're going to be on a record with Eminem. And here he comes. Let's go. Let's get into it. Eminem's verse. Now, he starts, as my phone is going off, he starts with the hook, but he changed it a little bit. So he says, Tobey Maguire got bit by a spider. Me, I must have got bit by a goat. So there already, he's telling us what he's on. He's claiming goat status, period. I used to dream as a kid I would grow up to be one. I hope that I inspire hope. So that means what he dreamed of as a kid has come true. And that way he can inspire others, right? Also, a kid is a baby goat. Let's go into the wordplay. We know this is M. Then he says, I hope that I inspire hope. Now he has a record called Hope that he released. I think it was a couple years ago, maybe a couple years ago, whatever the last project was. So I think that's a reference to that. Let's continue the verse. For you to go get what you desire most. Spitfire, bitch, I was just flying coach. That's fire. Y'all thought you were sick, you were misdiagnosed. I'm dope and you'll never have this high a dose. Bars. Okay, so when he says I was just flying coach and then Spitfire, so he's saying now he's a Spitfire, which is a fighter jet, an old fighter jet, but he was just flying coach. So now he's, of course, elevated in his ability and career. And you thought you were sick, you were misdiagnosed. That's kind of self-explanatory. Because you're not as sick as me, I'm dope. And you'll never have this higher dose. Dope sick. And of course, we know Eminem also had problems with drugs in the past. So all of that can be tied in there. And now he's about to get to the shits. Now my state's in the building, and bitch, I done slept on more floors than the Empire State Building. I got so many stories, but I hate ceilings. Okay, we're gonna stop right there. I'm not getting ready to get too far ahead of myself. Now, there's a lot in that. Of course, everybody on this record is from the Michigan, right? I don't think Baby Tron is from Detroit, actually, but Sean and Eminem are. So my state's in the building, and I done slept on more floors than the Empire State Building, right? I got so many stories, but I hate ceilings. So stories, of course, are floors. He hates ceilings, so he's not gonna let his career be capped off, and he's referring to the Empire State Building, right? So the Empire State Building itself, the building in New York, used to be the tallest building in the world for a long time. But then he's talking about the Empire State, New York itself, and how New York tends to try to underrate all rappers that are not from New York. Let's just get right to it. That's what he's talking about. That's what he's saying. And intertwined in that, he's also talking about how he came up as far as sleeping on the floor. So I done slept on more floors than the Empire State. But then he says, I got so many stories, floors, right? But I hate ceilings. So I won't be capped, and I won't allow my career to be capped by the rating of those from the Empire State. You get it? All right? Because Detroit's in the building, and they have some of the greatest rappers of all time as well, right? So then he goes into, I ain't feeling your top 5 favorite rappers, so I know they about to be pissed at me, but this to me is a mystery. How rappers are already ripped could be higher up on a list than me. Yet here I sit on your list though at 5, which still was fine. But just know inside, to me that shit is hilarious. So when I get dissed though by a pioneer who was one of the reasons that I am here, they tell me I should just let the shit go and slide. Melly Mel shouldn't get no reply. That man's a legend. Well, bitch, so am I. All right, I'm stopping right there because this rhyme scheme is difficult to respit. So to start, the top 5 list that he's talking about, most people think is the Billboard top 5 MCs list, top 5 or greatest MCs list of all time. And when he makes the top 5 line, that reference, this has been the problem with Eminem. Eminem is probably the most overrated and underrated rapper of all time at the same time. And it has nothing to do, whether he being overrated or underrated, it has nothing to do with his ability as an artist. And it has to do with everything outside of that, due to their popularity. You know, when artists become brands over just being artists, a lot of times their music and the music that they put out is guided by people who don't understand music. Let's just be honest, and record companies who are trying to market things a certain way, and it kind of can get in the way of the talent of the artist. I think if you just go on skill set alone, despite popularity and those things, I don't think that there's a question that he is one of the best to ever do it, but it's all subjective. And that's what people have to start to get out of their feelings about. Is it subjective? So don't worry about if everybody agrees with you. Just be happy that you agree with yourself. So as he goes into that part, talking about the Melly Mel diss and the top 5 list, right? And the hate from the Empire State a lot of times. And if you're from New York, you got to be honest. Okay, a lot of times there's a lot of people in New York, not everybody, of course, but there's New Yorkers who just hate on anything outside of New York. It's just that, I don't know, but there's people like that everywhere. Honestly, there's people from Chicago, I'm from Chicago, who hate on everything outside of Chicago. So that's what he's referring to as far as his status. And the bars are straightforward, right? What he's saying, but he has 3 rhyme schemes going on at the same time. Like he weaves the E, the mystery, the E into the I's, like, and he keeps it going throughout the whole time. Then he weaves the pioneer at the end. So Ioneer, why I'm here, right? It's cold rapping, man. It's cold rap. That was really hard for me to re-say that. I've done that like 3 times now. Tried to redo it and keep punching in and punching out to get back to it. But this is what you're dealing with when you're dealing with these talented ass MCs, which I decided that I was going to try to break down their lyrics. So, all right, here we go. We're going to continue. And anyone else who thinks it'd be wise and as easy as pie to beat me and tries can treat me just like poison. They can eat me and die. Middle finger stuck up, but I never conceded. When have I ever retreated? You never seen it. Okay, I want to stop right there. Of course, now pi is a double because there's pie that you eat and the ratio of the circumference of a circle to the diameter of a circle. And that was a very difficult ratio to come up with. All right, so that's what the easiest pie, right? So it's not gonna be easy. Now jumping to the middle finger stuck up, but I never conceded, right? When have I ever retreated? You never seen it. All right. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a reach, but earlier, okay, Big Sean was alluding to Kanye West, right? Okay, Kanye West has a song called Runaway, right? I never retreated. And in that song is, let's give a toast to the douchebags. Let's give a toast to that song, right? So conceded. And also conceded, right? As in concede, give up, or conceited as a person is conceited. Right? And that song is a very conceited kind of song. It's about a conceited person, so to speak, and celebrating that conceited kind of attitude, so to speak, right? Or I don't give a F attitude. But M is kind of saying I never conceded, so I'm not, even though I have the middle finger up, right? Like I don't give a F, I'm not conceited, right? About my skill. So I'll take the number 5 position on the top 5 list. Just don't put people ahead of me that are already destroyed on their own record. You know what I'm saying? So let's continue. So I definitely did controversy. I always said all I needed. Treat it like a truck, hit it head on. I meet it. Get on a beat and it's like that Eye of the Tiger song is playing in my head on repeat. I've been knocked down so many times I can't count. So sometimes shit does just not pan out. That's just the way that the cards hands dealt. Johnny Manziel, odd man out, but heavyweight worked to Scott Van Pelt. I can't help feel like a victim of child abuse because I'm about to get the goddamn belt. Now here he has an ad lib. I can't tell what he's saying. If he's saying that strap man or now strap man, I can't really tell. I'm gonna pretend he's saying that strap man, as in grabbing the belt. So then he finishes way beyond. Crazy shady gone, but hey, maybe I'm the GOAT. That bitch Sean and baby Tron, and that's why they beyond the shit they beyond. So at the end, he wraps up the whole like story of the song, right? So baby Tron passed it to Big Sean passed to Eminem. Eminem explains the hook that he is the GOAT, which is inferenced in the hook by Big Sean and Baby Tron being bit by the GOAT or being picked by the GOAT to be on this song. So as we go through some of the bars, okay, it's basically a Rocky scheme at the beginning when he's talking about doing the controversy, treat it like a truck, hit it head on, meet it, then the Eye of the Tiger song, been knocked down so many times. That's all references to Rocky. And sometimes shit does not pan out. Again, reference to Rocky. That's just the way that the cards hands dealt. Okay, if you ever played cards, you know, you fan the cards out or you pan the cards out. That's just a little bit of a stretch, but then the heavyweight bar, Scott Van Pelt, kind of don't get that one other than it rhymes perfectly with Odd Man Out. And Scott Van Pelt is a very big sportscaster. He's like 6'8", something like that. So I don't know, maybe that's what that is. And then of course the child abuse bar and getting the strap. So he's saying that basically he's about to abuse his children in rap, right? His competition, so to speak, right? And of course he went through that as a child himself. So he's going there with it. Again, he keeps weaving in his legacy along with his position in hip hop, along with what his approach is going to be on his way out, right? Which is to cement that legacy. And the rhyme scheme within itself could be like a whole video by itself. And this video is getting very long. We're over half hour now, but there was a lot of bars in this video. All three rap very well. Like I said, the only thing, the cadences, the switch ups on the cadences, but I understand what they were trying to do. They were dancing all over the beat. The beat was kind of empty, had a lot of space. So I like this record. Hopefully the majority of the album is on this kind of vibe, so to speak. And we're gonna address the elephant in the room. I'm gonna do a separate video because most of the greats are dropping albums this summer or this year. So the conversation is going to have to be had as far as GOAT status and where people rank. And Jay-Z, you need to say something. You need to say something back, because I know people can say, oh, well, he's been on tracks with Kendrick Lamar, he's been on tracks with Nas. Yeah, but those tracks, he didn't clearly wash or clearly have better verses than them on those songs that they're on. Now, if you're an Eminem fan, of course, you're going to think so. You can comment about it if you want to. Don't really care. But will he say something back? I doubt it. I doubt Jay will say anything back. I don't think he wants any smoke with Eminem, especially at this stage in his career. The Drake versus Kendrick battle should be a lesson in how to tame your ego and be careful what you enter into. I think Jay-Z should take the cool route and just kind of act like he didn't hear or he didn't think Eminem was talking to him only. That's what he should do. But speaking of people who will have smoke with anybody and can rap with anybody, Lupe Fiasco, mumble rap, lyrical breakdown, that'll be available. You'll see it on your screen here. Click that link for the bar breakdown of top tier lyricism there. Also, Kendrick Lamar, Lyrics Explained, Meet the Grams, top tier lyricism there. Both examples of two GOATs of this thing here. And thank y'all for clicking those. Thank y'all for liking, hitting that share button, hitting that subscribe button, hitting the notification bell. Thank you for watching. We out.